What's going on, everybody? It's Brad at Yamaha Marine Center. As you can see, we've been getting some boats in, so that's a good thing. A lot of them are coming in pre-sold, but we're getting some inventory. Anyway, today we have a very special boat. First time we've ever had this one in inventory. It is a 2021 Pursuit Dual Console 365. And she's a beast. Right next door is the Offshore 355. You can see a lot of similarities. That's because it's pretty much the same boat, just like they do on their 325 series. They have the same running surface between boats and then change deck caps. So they started out with the Offshore 355 when it was running twin 350s, and then they built this boat, the DC 365, to run trip 300s, and so they updated the running surface on both boats to accommodate the triple engines, which we'll take a look at in the back. But a little information: this is 300 horsepower. Length overall is 37 feet 11 inches, so she is big. Beam is 12 feet, 17,000 pounds dry with engines, and a 20-degree dead rise. Draft's about 26 inches. I think that is an engines up figure. Engines down is going to be a little bit more than that. I don't have it on hand. I apologize. Call me and we will find out. Fuel capacity 326 gallons, 23 gallons of diesel, and all kinds of good stuff. 28-gallon live well, 22-gallon black water tank, and cruise is 34, wide open throttle about 51. She has an effective range of about 258 miles with a 42-gallon freshwater tank. And the most important fact of all, how much is it? This boat is offered, of course I don't have it on my sheet. Oh, there it is. $646,055 for this beautiful piece of equipment. As always, check with your local dealer. We do sell below that number to clients in the Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia regions, and all the way down into Daytona area as well. So if you're in Daytona and you need this boat, call me. Anyway, again, it's the exact same running surface as the 355. So big boat, big strakes, running the full length of the boat. Help get it on plane. You can see the bow thruster pocket there. Standard on all their boats, 32 feet and above, and it does work phenomenal. I don't know how much thrust it puts out, but you really get control over the boat. And with this big, huge secondary chine here, the reverse chine, this reverse chine does a good job of deflecting water. One of my, not complaints, just these hulls being so round, as you do clear the V in the reverse chine, if the water travels up the front of the boat, there's not as much flare to continue to deflect the water off. So these have a tendency to get a little bit more spray over the side if you have like a quartering or a beam wind or something like that. But as far as just regular running, the boat does phenomenal at shedding water and staying dry. Another thing I like that they've been doing is this Lumar. They actually partnered with Lumar to create this through stem anchor that actually sucks up into there a little bit more when you really pull it in there, and then it drops, and then the anchor comes straight down. That way you don't have to have that big gaudy looking stainless steel bash plate on the bow there. Hull side window on starboard side, it is not functional. It's just to match the port side, but the port side berth, it is functional because this is just storage on this side underneath the boat, so the window's just to balance it out. We do have a door on starboard side, dive door, tuna door, whatever you want to call it. Oh, and this color on the boat is a Neptune gray, and then we did a white and titanium boot stripes. There's a little metallic flake in the boot stripe. I don't know if you can get that in the camera or not, but it's pretty. And then of course the Yamaha 300s, and one of the coolest things that they put on this boat is the new digital electric steering. So it has the external cylinders, whereas later on this year we'll be getting the fully integrated DES system on the engine. So the reason they did that on this one is because it is a Helm Master boat, or they call it a full control now. So it has the joystick, autopilot, all the Yamaha stuff integrated in the boat. No more hydraulic steering, so we don't have to worry about leaky lines and stuff like that. As I mentioned, the just change to the hull. You can see the flat pad back there to really get that center engine, which is a 30-inch shaft down into the water for a good clean bite. Big trim tabs, full spectrum underwater lights, Seablaze Quattros, I believe. Integrated swim ladder, those are kind of neat. That pulls right out, and it has 4 steps on either side. This light right here, the underwater light that's not underwater, is your Helmmaster lights. Whenever the Helmmaster is active, those are flashing to let swimmers know to stay away as the engines may engage. What else on the back of the boat? Transom extensions. They are stylish and they are functional. They stick out and they provide more flotation when the boat is just sitting still, and they help it get on plane. And then once it's on plane, they're actually out of the water, so they are reducing the wetted surface. So your LOA of that 3711 becomes a little bit shorter when the boat's up and running, allowing the engines to really do their job. And that's another thing I really love about this boat is with all of these props in the water, the thing planes out super flat. There's almost no bow rise to this boat, and being a short guy at the helm, that makes a difference to me. I can see it's a big thing. Shore power, 50 amp, no power sharing when you're plugged in, and then you got your little blower vent over here for when you're about to run the generator. You can turn the blower on, and then the city water hook up there, and then I think this is the black water. Yep, waste removal there. Pop-up fenders, rod holders. We got the cockpit cover on now, trying to keep her as clean as possible. But coming in from the boat, cover's pretty easy to remove by yourself. I'll go ahead and stop the video so you don't have to stare at me do it. And we are back. So inside the boat, cover's pulled off. Coming right in, you can see you have a couple of switches set up here, so you can turn on your courtesy lights as you come into the boat. So you can see you have the freshwater outlet, raw water down below. You can plug a hose into, and then this is your shore power reel, so you can retract it. There's a Glendenning on the boat to pull the shore power back in from that outlet right there. What was that message? But some other cool innovations that Pursuit is doing is this new seat back here. You can see how it folds up into the transom, and then it has this flip up backrest right here, so this whole portion is going to fold down, and then there's some coring cutting surfaces on top there. But I believe they have a patent on this. As you're in this seat, you are in the boat, so it feels nice and secure. A couple of our other boats that we compete, not our boats, but a couple boats we compete against, you'll notice the seating surface is higher and the backrests are lower, so they're not quite as comfortable. You won't feel like you're in the boat when you're sitting there. And then we have this port side seat that folds down, and then of course the aft-facing lounger with a couple of coolers underneath it. It's kind of hard to do with one hand, but they come all the way open. So that's nice. And you can get one optional with a freezer plate in there. And I don't know if we put it on this boat or not. I'll have to check. And then another cool feature is a magnetic catch on the backrest to access your tackle. And then you can pull that whole tackle center out to access other rigging on the boat. So a lot of neat features that have built in. And then of course, can't have a boat this size without a grill and a sink. And it is an alternating current grill, so it only runs on gen or shore power. And then we have a water heater on the boat too. Dive door. So starboard side dive door, port side aft entry. So you have 2 different ways to get on the boat, but depending on where your dock is, floating dock, non-floating dock, you can always hop onto the big transom extensions, walk around, and get to your transom door if you don't have a floating dock to get into your side boarding door. Again, Pursuit, an engineering company that happens to build boats. They kind of overkill this. So the reason they didn't come out with side boarding doors for so long is because they had to figure out a way to engineer it into the hulls, which is why you still don't see it on their offshore series. Hopefully we'll see that coming soon. You can see the 355 no side boarding door, because they didn't have enough room to put it in, and they won't sacrifice the engineering of the boat just to put an option in. Some manufacturers just cut a hole in the side of the boat, and that's about it, but not Pursuit. Some storage in here, main breaker going onto the boat. Oh, let's fold up the seat so you can see that. You can see how the seat folds away, that big coring cutting surface on there. That way, if you do plan on fishing the boat, you know, all these seats go away and you have a gigantic cockpit area. This is pretty nice. And then on this side, I believe, is your macerated fish box. So it's actually a diaphragm pump too. So if it goes through the hole, it'll suck it out and shoot it out, and you don't have to worry about hooks and weights and stuff like that screwing up your macerator. It'll just go right out. Bilge area, nice and clean. Stern anchor, ladder for your dive door, stowage for the table that goes back here. I forget where it plugs in. Oh, right there. The pole, I don't know where they stow that thing, but you can see Jenny 8kW diesel Fisher Panda. Access to the bilge. Most of what you're seeing here is actually a liner, and then you can see that hole right there. That's water management underneath all this. So again, really well thought out and engineered boat, and you have access to your bilge pumps and stuff like that. Batteries, you can see on they're on trays that slide out. That way you're not having to do rigging underneath that shelf. Oh, there's your table pole right there. Everything has its place. And you can see all the pumps are mounted up on the wall, so if they do get wet, they shed water. All of the through holes are electrically bonded, so those wires go into every single through hole. That way, if you're at a dock somewhere and somebody's leaking voltage, it pulls the voltage onto the boat and it reduces or eliminates the galvanic corrosion. I think that's what they call that when the electricity hits the through hole, so you run less of a chance of a through hole completely corroding and putting water on the boat. Some rod holders. You have a 12 volt, not a 12 volt, an alternating current 110 outlet there, so if you're on the generator or shore power, you can run a blender or something back here on the entertainment center. And then coming into the bridge deck is your MDP with all your batteries, windlass, bow thruster, volt meters, and then all of your systems. So everything on the helm, all your lights, fridges, cooler, head, all that good stuff. All right, now to the cool stuff. You can see the teak step. That way you can see where you're going. All the courtesy lights are on. This is actually a teak step here, and then little countertop, food prep. This is a double wide helm chair, and then it does swivel to be facing over to this lounger over here, so you can really have a couple of different areas of entertainment in the bridge deck or the cockpit. With that seat facing sideways, you can really hang out and entertain people, all that good stuff. AC outlet there. So the bridge deck does have its own AC unit, and then the head compartment has its own. And you see up on the top, glove boxes, speakers everywhere, lights everywhere. And we have a sunroof, I guess? Moonroof? I don't know what you call this thing. Pretty easy to operate. Just pull the lever and it closes. And then we did the factory electronics package, the Garmin 8616s, and then everything being integrated in the Yamaha really cleans this dash up too, so you don't have any more autopilot controller up here. It's all in the Yamaha system right there. The new total boat control, Helmmaster EX stuff with the EX binnacle, and then all of your push button start stop, trim tabs, Fireboy system down there, bow thruster, spotlight, and then all of your switches. This is kind of a nice option too. The Sure Shade, one of the only manufacturers using this. It's a pretty expensive option, but you can see one touch Comes out nice and fast. Can't even hear it. Oh, we did the Verb camera, or the Garmin camera on this one too, so you can see the cockpit as you're docking and things. You can see that nice sunshade pops out. A lot of cool features. All fly-by-wire steering. You got a little glove box in here, and then your AC return, another AC outlet over there, keeping the captain nice and cool. And the weather protection on this boat is phenomenal. The integrated fiberglass hardtop into the windshield, great visibility, and it keeps you warm in the winter, cool in the summer, because that AC actually does give you a pretty good blast of air. I'm going around the cabin real quick, which is pretty surprising. I mean, yeah, it's a big boat, but being a dual console, it actually has some pretty good amenities inside. A nice settee right here, more rod storage on the wall, and then head clearance in here. Jeez, I don't know, a little over 6 foot. They probably have that measurement somewhere, but you got a little microwave. All of the wood in here is real wood, just like any of their other boats. It's an African mahogany, and I think it's like either a kaya or a sapele, and it depends on where the wood is as to what they use. So the veneers are a different wood than the floors, and probably sound like an idiot right now because I can only regurgitate what they tell me, and I forget half of it anyway. But a little midship berth. That is the bow filler. Not really a good place to store it. They don't have any dedicated storage for that. And then you have a little locker back there, and then all of your alternating current stuff is in here. So shore power generator, Jenny controls, AC controls for bridge deck and the cabin in here, and then you have another little berth down there, so you could, I don't know, overnight on this thing really if you wanted to, especially if you're little like me. Get around okay, not taking up a lot of room. This is another cool design that Pursuit, I'm pretty sure they have a patent on this too. As you open the door, the ceiling goes away, so you have an easier time getting in and out, especially if you're tall. And then again, all real mahogany. Nice bowl on top of the sink, and then we have a separate shower stall with the head as well, and then a privacy that snaps into place right there. So you got a nice separate shower, so you're not getting everything wet, and some natural light up top. They have some shades for as well. And then going through into the bow, which this is phenomenal. Having younger kids, it really makes me feel comfortable having them on the boat. Not that we get to spend much time on these because we haven't really got one yet. But again, that weather protection, you have a nice door, full coverage windshield, it snaps into place, cover comes off. Pretty easy. So then coming up forward on here, everything on port side is cabin space. So you have a nice deep seat, and again, with a full-grown 6 foot plus adult can sit on the seat, and their head barely sticks up over the gunnel. So the freeboard is phenomenal, especially if you're out running around and you get in some nasty seas. You don't feel like you're going to be pitched overboard any moment. The storage up front is pretty versatile. They have another table leg stowage, and then some dock line stowage there, and then these are for the forward med shade. These poles, they pop right into the holes up front on the deck right there, and then the shade just goes across from the poles to the hardtop. But this storage is extremely deep. You have a couple full-size tank holders, and then it comes up to the front section here. So for versatility, I mean, these dual consoles are really an SUV. They're not as fishable as, say, a center console, and they're not as livable as like a full express style cruiser. But I mean, for a compromise, and if you do mostly day boating or extended day boating, it's super comfortable. Big old windlass. Nice anchor, freshwater, raw water. You have lights up here as well. Just a phenomenal boat. It's a good shot of the windshield and hardtop. But if you have questions on this boat or anything else on the lot, feel free to call us, 904-644-7631. Ask for Brad or Barton, or you can always get us on the website at YamahaMarineJAX.com.